I would like to welcome you to an intimate and personal interview with our outgoing commander, Lieutenant Colonel Rob Howe. Hello, sir. How are you today?
Actually, hadn't had a chance to think about any of these answers, so you're just going to get the straight answers.
Being the commander is an awesome opportunity. Along with that, an awesome responsibility. What was your plan when you took command?
I don't have any plans. I wish I had a plan. I don't.
Sir, what was your first thought when you found out that you and Lieutenant Colonel Gretzky were going to be in charge of the 65th Airlift Squadron?
I call it a debacle. I understood that I didn't think we would make the cut, and I thought, I'm looking forward to it, and I was probably the only guy who was actually looking forward to that.
What was your biggest challenge as the commander?
Well, I have a very poor memory.
Okay. What about attendance at wing level meetings and warrior runs? How did you escape all of that?
Good question. That's not in the script. I think I'd give myself a pass, but
I agree.
And I'm pretty proud of that.
Any regrets during your time as squadron commander?
Well, I guess I would have wished to have flown more.
You weren't even close to the bottom of the 30, 60, 90.
You know, I'm the guy who lets everybody go to the buffet first and before I go. And I watched the 30, 60, 90 days, 90-day times fairly closely, and I didn't want to be even in the middle.
Because you flew so much, what did you think Colonel Hoffman's take was on the countless dual absences between you and Lieutenant Colonel Gretzky?
He liked to see the leadership of the squadron on the road.
How many hours do you think you racked up in the C-40 over the 2 years you were here?
600, 800? I should ask you, how many hours do you have? I think they need to be assured that they have the most competent, proficient, and current crew that we can possibly provide them. So I'm not the guy who needs to be, you know, the 5-hour-a-month guy taking those things out in command. That's what I thought. And what do you think? Think I flew too much?
Sir, what does leadership think about your OPR, EPR, timeliness track record?
But they understand when I say I can't do it today, or can't do it tonight, or can't do it this weekend. They're very understanding of that. That's another thing that I liked about the job.
How do you think the chain of command views our squadron?
They assume that we're like Southwest Airlines or NetJets. They have that level of confidence in us.
One of the biggest changes during your tenure in command was integrating the Navy into our building. What are your thoughts on that?
Never felt like they were weaseling in or wedging into our territory or our turf.
If you had to choose, who would be the best candidate for President of the United States, who would you pick?
It's between Timmy Martin and Angel Stone. Another one is Tom Onan, Lieutenant Colonel Doug Golden, Chief Correa type of guy.
Although most of the squadron is fairly experienced NCOs and officers, Airman Perry is by far the youngest and junior person in the 65th. What kind of advice would you give him?
I sought his advice on several occasions. So I don't know that I could give him any advice. I mean, he's going to run a show like he runs a show, and I would bet that the track record of me asking his advice more than he asks mine will probably continue.
We know that you and your wife Joni have a great marriage, but is there anyone else you would consider to be your soulmate?
Yeah, I guess so. Really, Lieutenant Colonel Jason Gretzky. I think we were about as good a team as we possibly could have been. He's always kept a little bit something warm for me, and share a glass of wine, talk about the day. That was good stuff.
Is there anyone else you would like to thank for all your success as the 65th Airlift Squadron Commander?
I guess so. I guess I ought to.
Over the last 2 years, we spent a lot of time in the hallway for your famous Howe calls. Would you ever consider hosting your own talk show when you got out of the Air Force?
It doesn't necessarily need to be the Rob Howe show. And I hope nobody feels necessarily obligated. And I hope you're looking forward to do it as much as I am.
Sir, I just wanted to take this opportunity to thank you for doing this interview with me. You've been extremely honest. I wish you nothing but great things.
Thank you.
That's all we got.
Thank you, Miss Lowell. Thanks, Bruce.
Thanks.